And so, I promised that I would do this, and here we are. I searched for the best low-cost equipment that I'm comfortable recommending for people who just started streaming or want to start streaming. So here's pretty much everything that you're going to need for your budget setup. Now let's go ahead and dive right in. Before we continue, don't forget that I have a Twitch channel that you can go ahead and follow me on for live microphone reviews and much more than that. But you're also going to find my Twitter, my Instagram, and a link to the Tech Summit Discord in the description. So come join the community because it is a pretty cool one. We've also opened up a Patreon as of late where if you join, you'll be automatically entered to win one tech gadget every month in our exclusive giveaways. Details to that are going to be down below. Don't forget to check out the description for everything. Now let's get right into the video. And just so you know, I'm going to be leaving links in the description to everything that I feature in this video. All of those links are going to be affiliated, so if you end up using any of those links, then I would appreciate that quite a bit, and that would go a long way for helping out the channel. Now let's get right into it. So first off would be the computer, and then this is completely subjective here. For the purposes of this video, I'm using a Razer Blade 14 from 2015, but you can use a much more affordable machine, and if you already have a machine with something as small as, let's say, even just a Ryzen 3 or a Core i5, then you should be able to stream with some compromises, of course, but you should be able to stream fine. And that's as far as I would go regarding hardware on your machine, but I would probably recommend that you use the computer that you already have at home. And my monitor of choice here was this $120 24-inch 1080p monitor from HP. Now this is going to be an IPS display that runs at 75 Hz, so that refresh rate is going to be a little bit higher than what you would find on other monitors of yours. So this would be a great option for gaming, especially on a budget. It's not 144 Hz, but it is still very good. It's also an IPS panel, like I mentioned earlier, so it is very colorful and really just looks great. And the stand itself is also very good. It is weighed nicely, and you can pivot and rotate with this thing and also raise your monitor if you want to. So this thing is very adjustable, and for 120 bucks, it does feel like quite the steal, if I'm completely honest. So now, on this desk, I do have some RGB greatness, and this is the GMS mousepad. It's one of those longer ones with that same neoprene texture that you usually get from these, and it is actually pretty nice, and it features a button for switching between colors, and it is powered over a micro USB port. I like this one because it is really nice. It is a great size to fit pretty much everything that you're going to need here, and the lights just add to the aesthetic here, and we're definitely going for it. And for a little bit, we're actually going to be sticking to a couple of products from the same brand because this particular brand actually makes some of my favorite budget hardware. So here I have the Dragon Camara. Though this one has silent keys, which does come at the expense of crisp feedback, of course. However, I went with the quiet model because you don't want your microphone to pick up the sound of your keys when you're typing or gaming. I mean, in this case, it is still going to do it anyway. However, this is more so going to go some way into making sure that it at least dampens that sound, and having a quiet keyboard is going to be great for exactly that. Plus, it already has RGB lighting on it, and don't forget, this is a mechanical keyboard with red switches. So yeah, there you have it. We're also using a Dragon Impact for the mouse. I went with this one because it comes with a bunch of remappable buttons on the side, and it is actually pretty affordable, I would say. It even has weights that you can remove and attach. However, this probably isn't my first recommendation because the side buttons are hard to press, and I don't really enjoy using them so much. But the clicking buttons are honestly great, and I do think that they feel pretty good. I would go even cheaper with the mouse personally, just because I don't think that if this is the kind of quality that you're going to get out of side buttons, then you might as well save yourself that money, but this is still a pretty good option if you do want those buttons. And next is my microphone of choice, and we're actually using the Dragon Blazar. And this was after a lot of internal debating. I already made a full review of this microphone, and I have to say that it is a good sounding mic, but because it's omnidirectional, it picks up more noise than necessary. But it is still a pretty good value with the amazing build, the included shock mount, and there's also the separate arm that you can get on the side. Now you can pick it up for extremely cheap, and it is still going to be relatively short. Like, it's not going to be the longest arm. It's going to get the job done, no problem here. Like this is going to be a very good combination, and it is going to make you look a lot more professional as well. And now audio quality is going to be very important, and luckily this already comes with a windscreen, which is going to help with plosives. However, if you do want clearer sound while still being able to avoid plosives, then you should use a pop filter instead. But in this case, I don't really recommend it because a pop filter will just block out your face for the most part. So at the same time, you do have to find some compromise there, and I think that a windscreen will do just fine for most people. And now this time I went with the Red Dragon Lamia's gaming headset. It does support surround sound, and games do sound pretty good with these. I went with this pair because it looks very simple. It has a decent enough headband and ear cushions as well, and it even includes a headset stand in the box, which is really nice. In terms of sound quality, this is a great option as well, and I do find it to be pretty comfortable too. It does have a built-in microphone, of course, like most headsets do, but we already know that it won't be used. Please don't stream with a headset microphone ever. And next is the webcam itself, and this is going to be the Red Dragon Hitman. This is a nicely built webcam that looks like your average webcam really. Performance isn't amazing, but it does do 1080p 30, which is pretty cool. This one is already pretty overexposed, I would say, like just right out of the box. So you're going to want to bring the light down. Like you don't want to use this in a very bright room, and you can also customize it like within Streamlabs for you to get the right colors that you want. It's not highly customizable by any means, but it will at the very least serve you fine for a little while. And to accompany this webcam and to ditch Red Dragon for a bit, I've been using this ring light kit from Sigsit. It comes with the mic arm and a bunch of mounts for you to use. You can adjust the color temperature and brightness through the control panel on the wire, and it is a pretty good light, I would say. It gets very bright. I just hooked up the webcam to the ring light itself, and I like it. It works just fine. Highly recommend it. Even though it is a little bit of a ghetto setup, it still works totally fine. And now, having a good keyboard and mouse is very important. However, not everybody loves playing with these alone and prefer a game controller. So for that, I actually got this controller, which remains largely unbranded, so unfortunately I can't exactly name it, but it is very nicely priced. The links to that are still going to be down below, so don't worry, you can still find it if you're interested. But this is an Xbox One controller style gamepad with a blue LED light around the right stick. The sticks actually feel pretty good since the tip is rough, and it actually kind of reminds me of the PlayStation Vita sticks, but this controller is mushy almost everywhere. The buttons are certainly going to be mushy, and it is a lightweight controller. Nonetheless, the D-pad is also going to be pretty mushy, so like it's not the best option out there, but if you need a controller and you're on an extreme budget, you can use this. Just stick with whatever controller you already have on you. However, like this is just a very affordable option, and I think that it will do just fine for the vast majority of people. And next is going to be the smartphone mount. Since we mostly will be dealing with just one monitor here, you do need a good way of monitoring your chat so that you can just put your phone there and leave Twitch open while you're streaming and read the chat off of your phone. I did that for a very long time, and I still do it from time to time. It works just fine, and this is a pretty good stand, so yeah, I would recommend it. And lastly, we've got a USB hub, in case you don't have enough USB ports to support everything in the setup, and it is going to be a pretty good one distance from Anchor, I believe, and I can certainly recommend it at its pretty cheap price. It's got 4 extra ports, so go nuts. And that's pretty much it. That is the entire streaming setup that I opted for when it comes to streaming on a budget. And while there are some things that I wouldn't get after actually getting my hands on them, like the mouse for instance, I would probably consider this setup a great win and one that most people will have a good time with. And this is super important. I would just like to give a very special thanks to all of our patrons, which are going to be listed right here on the screen. Again, a massive thanks to you all for supporting us to help us create the kind of content that we bring to you on a day-to-day basis. And thank you so much for supporting the Tech Summit podcast as well. And just remember that if you would like to be a part of this community too, and then do make sure to check out the links to our Patreon, where you don't only get bonus episodes of our podcast, but you also get automatically entered into one of our monthly giveaways of a tech product that we have reviewed that is of at least $50 in value or higher. So links to that down below. So thank you so much for watching tonight's video, and I very much hope that you've enjoyed this setup thus far. And make sure to subscribe if you do like our content so that you can go ahead and catch up with any more content that we post. And also leave us a like if you ended up liking this video, and if you found it helpful and valuable, I would very much appreciate it if you shared it around, so don't be shy. And this is super important. I would just like to give a very special thanks to all of our patrons, which are going to be listed right here on the screen. Again, a massive thanks to you all for supporting us to help us create the kind of content that we bring to you on a day-to-day basis. And thank you so much for supporting the Tech Summit podcast as well. And just remember that if you would like to be a part of this community too, and then do make sure to check out the links to our Patreon, where you don't only get bonus episodes of our podcast, but you also get automatically entered into one of our monthly giveaways of a tech product that we have reviewed that is of at least $50 in value or higher. So links to that down below. And for my social media, you can also just see it right on screen over here. I'm sure I have it somewhere, and you can also find it in the description in case of anything. Now with that said, this has been Francisco from Tech Summit. Thank you for watching, and I will be seeing you all later. Enjoy.